Hello, this is the final presentation for MyMeds by Code for Health. The team consists of myself, David Grant, Louis Perea, Youngsuk Kim, Christina Jang, Jishan Zhang, and Dinesh Malniti, who will walk you through our application. Our project is called MyMeds, and our project goals were to create an app that helped people keep track of their medications. Over half of Americans are on at least one prescription drug, and among them, non-adherence is a big problem. According to a review in the Annals of Internal Medicine, about a quarter of prescriptions are never filled, and roughly half of medications for chronic disease are not taken as prescribed. This leads to approximately 125,000 deaths a year and at least 10% of hospitalizations, and costs us hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Clearly, non-adherence is a very common and very costly problem, and MyMeds is intended to help reduce it. To do this, we wanted MyMeds to list your medications, detail any potential drug interactions or side effects, provide reminders when it was time to take a dose or refill your prescription, and show nearby pharmacies and place orders for refills. However, apps already existed that could do most of this. In order to improve on what was already available, we decided to build a web app rather than a native smartphone app like most of the competition. This allowed us to design one app that could deliver the same simple and easy to use design equally well on both desktop and mobile. This is important because our research showed that the elderly were the most likely users of the app, because they have the most medications to keep track of, and they were the most likely to deal with health-related matters on a desktop rather than a mobile device. So where did we succeed? Our biggest successes were creating a clean and simple user interface that should be less intimidating than the competition. Once it is complete, it will also improve on the competition by pulling a list of your medications directly from the EHR, avoiding the tedious process of entering the details of your prescriptions into the app manually. While we've succeeded in some areas, there's always more to do. Next steps include pulling real data for logged in users, adding push notifications so that you don't have to open the app to see your reminders, including more information about each medication using the endpoint we implemented to pull data from WebMD, showing nearby pharmacies in the app, allowing the user to place refill orders from those pharmacies without leaving the app, and providing some settings so that the user can customize things like reminder frequency. Deployment for our app is rather simple, as we have the pipeline set up and running already. MyMeds consists of two parts, an Express.js API and an Angular UI. Both are containerized with Docker and can be orchestrated with Docker Compose. We also have a Jenkins pipeline set up that will build and deploy our app in ASAP with Rancher. As a standalone smart patient app, MyMeds must also be registered in a Smart on Fire system to pull patient data. We have it up and running in the ASAP environment now at the listed URLs. Here you can see the team member contributions, including tasks such as setting up the deployment pipeline, Angular front-end development, Express.js back-end development, setting up the MongoDB database, writing the WebMD scraper, and creating the final delivery documents. You can also see the narrators for each of our presentations. Here we see our final Gantt chart. Okay, let's move on to the demo with Dinesh.
As David explained you regarding our application MyMeds is actually hosted on this location. So as soon as you log into this page, this is what you see. There's a login button which you can use if you already have the login credentials. If not, you'll have to go ahead and register yourself. So in the first place, I'm going to register myself, Dinesh, and then Dinesh, and password is, I'll just say password. Remember that the username is case sensitive. So I just registered myself, and as I log in, this is what comes up once I log in into the application. I'll go back, I'll try logging in with an incorrect username, that is a different username than what I actually registered. So this is what it shows up saying username or password is incorrect. So I just go back, change this to this, I logged in. So as soon as you log in into the application, this is what you see. On the left side navigation, you have home, the list of medications, and the nearby pharmacies for a specific user. And on the top right hand side, you have a logout option, and at the bottom is your settings option. So as soon as you look at the home page actually gives you reminders of all the medications that are due in a day. So if you look at it, vitamin A, B, and C are due at a specific time on May 1st. I can go ahead and dismiss it if I'm not going to use that medication. Similarly, on May 2nd, I have a bunch of vitamins which are due. And it also shows on May 2nd that I have to refill my vitamin C pills. And there is actually a link given to the pharmacy. So as soon as you click this link, it would open into a Google page wherein Google Maps, wherein you can give your zip code. By default, it takes Atlanta zip code, but in case if you're somewhere outside, you can just key in your zip code, and that would show up the pharmacies located in the nearby area. That functionality has not yet been implemented, but in the future iterations, it will be done. This is on my home page. And when I click on the medications page, this is what I would see. Currently, this is a static list of medications, but in future iterations, they will be integrated with the EHR, electronic health record, or a user can go into settings tab and then manually add medications to that. So this is the medications at a top level. On a high level, it shows what that medication is, what is the dosage, a description, and what are its side effects. As soon as you click this, it goes into a little more detailed level wherein it shows you a description of what exactly is the name, what are the specifics, dosage, side effects, and interactions. This interactions is actually tied to the other medicines. So when the user actually inputs all his medications into this tool, it will look at his other medications and it will show you interaction detail wherein it says, okay, vitamin A, this detail is actually, this vitamin is actually going to interact with vitamin C drug. So that way user can take a informed decision. That is all about my medications page. And once I go back to the pharmacies page, this is where it is actually integrated to a Google API. So currently this is showing Atlanta region, and if I try to go into Anchorage, it will actually load the Anchorage data. Still loading. Yeah, there you are. So once this functionality has been implemented, it will actually show what are the available pharmacies nearby my zip code. Currently this is showing you a static map, but in the future iterations, this is what it is going to do. And at the settings level, we don't have anything in the settings page yet, but this is as part of the future iteration where we are going to add additional functionalities which are going to be interacting with the medications page and the home, that reminders page. That is all about our current app as of now, but as part of this development, we have already integrated the APIs which can scrape drug information from WebMD. So that is, we are getting the data from WebMD application. So that API has already been built in the application. We haven't integrated it yet. And there is also an API that has been currently developed in the application which interacts with smart FIHR and then retrieves a list of medications taken by the patient. In the future iteration of this project, we are going to, under the settings page, we are going to give a feature wherein the user can directly import all his medication details from an EHR, from an health record, or he can manually key in the medications that he's currently taking and then save it. It will automatically go and show up on this place with a specific timeline. And regarding the notification settings, in the future iterations, the way this is going to work is it is going to notify at 1 p.m. if the user hasn't come back and dismissed it, it is going to show a notification that vitamin A is due at 1 p.m. And the final iteration will be adding these refills. So this is going to give a recommendation saying your refills are due for next dosage, and it shows you the list of nearby pharmacies with whatever location preference user has set up in the settings page. That is all about our application, and in the future iterations we are going to implement the other API features whatever I just discussed. And once I clicked on that, it actually logged out. That's all on all our application is about. Thank you.